I got to play through Gravity Ghost recently, and throughout its 2-hour trip, I had some fun spooking in space. Let's see why. Gravity Ghost is a 2D puzzle platformer with both interesting presentation and gameplay. Throughout an overworld hub with different zones to visit, you'll complete almost 100 stages while unlocking new abilities and power-ups, with your main objective being to fill in a black hole with collectibles found at the end of each zone. Playing the game is as simple as leaping off a planet with some velocity and manipulating yourself around its orbit to reach other planets or collectibles, hence where the gravity part of the title comes in. Sometimes it becomes a bit difficult to accurately predict where you'll be flying or landing, and moving left or right can be unintuitive based on where you are. But over time, you'll, for the most part, get used to the way everything works. The main objective of each stage is to simply grab a star that will open the door to the exit. They can all last a couple seconds to as much as several minutes depending on how you decide to solve them. And with the abilities you'll gain throughout playing the game, you can figure out solutions to some of them in interesting ways. Your main ability involves using the game's energy system, in this case the length of your hair, to change the composition of the planets that make up each stage, which can have larger levels of gravity, repel you away, or be bouncy, just to name a few. Other skills you'll pick up, like the ability to dash or glide, make the game a lot easier to influence your trajectory with, and some of them later in the game can actually make puzzles a complete cakewalk. Towards the end, you start getting perhaps maybe too many abilities to use versus the length of the game to test them out on. But since most stages can be beaten without any of them, the complexity is banal. Being open-ended in progression, you can just come back to older stages at a later point, or skip some of the hardest ones altogether. The game does the whole Mario 64 thing where it blocks off zones by the number of stars you have. It never became an issue where I had to scrounge around for the easiest levels to beat. The game doesn't have enemies or bosses to deal with, it's all just you playing with the environment in order to get the star pieces you need, catching the spirits of dead animals that fly around, and solving puzzles that revolve around revolving. A lot of the levels can be solved by just trial and error too, and since there's no concept of game over at work here, the game is not trying to stress you out. Until you get to the puzzles that involve aligning objects or getting stars that have self-imposed time limits. Every few stages you're given a cutscene, some of which can last longer than the stage you just played. For some, it could end up feeling like you're unevenly treated as a spectator more than a player, but I personally felt that it did a decent job of breaking up the monotony of figuring out puzzles. These cutscenes are delivered in a 2D style that can sometimes look janky and have awkward timing, but otherwise it gets the job done and the visuals are really nice. The audio levels for some of the voice acting is too loud or quiet as well, making it hard to understand at times. In this case, I recommend turning on subtitles.
Do you like my song?
If I say yes, will you stop singing?
No?
I have to go now.
Bye, Spacey!
The overall plot of Gravity Ghost is told out of order, and this can be compounded further based on what way you proceed through the stages. But its dark story isn't too complex to piece together in your head as you progress. Without giving too much away, it actually is a nice and bitter tale about learning forgiveness and moving on, topped with a lot of symbolism about geometry and astronomy. Presentation-wise though is where the game really succeeds, and it shines in some of the later stages where it's just dazzling to float around and look at the pretty colors. The score of Gravity Ghost is composed by Bren Prudy, who worked on FTL, and you can kinda tell right away. The music achieves a mood that can be perceived as both mysterious and calming. Overall, while short and a little rough around the edges, Gravity Ghost was a fun ride that I'll recommend to just about anyone looking for a less stressful experience, while taking in a very interesting narrative and set of mechanics. The game just released at $15 on PC. If you're looking for a calm game where you play as a space ghost that flies around the galaxy, lighting planets on fire, and reuniting the spirits of animals with their bones while also finding your ghost fox friend, then this game will send you into orbit. Check it out!